Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Celeb Scope channel. In one of the most controversial criminal cases involving a celebrity in decades, Mr. Shapi, Diddy Combs is now appealing his conviction. And the arguments in that appeal are raising serious questions about jury verdicts, sentencing fairness, and constitutional rights. So, today we're breaking down what the appeal actually says. Not rumors, not headlines, but the legal arguments his lawyers are making to the federal appeals court and whether this case could end with his conviction overturned. In the defense's introduction, it says, Sean Combs is an extraordinary, successful, self-made businessman, artist, and philanthropist, and one of the most accomplished black men in this country. In September 2024, the government accused him of heinous crimes and arrested and detained him. It said he was a trafficker who coerced and defrauded two long-term girlfriends into having sex against their will and ran a vast criminal organization. None of that was true. At Combs's trial, the prosecution failed to prove the inflammatory allegations because their own evidence revealed the truth to the jury. Combs and his girlfriends sometimes invited a third party, a paid professional adult male entertainer, into their private sex life. Combs watched and filmed while his girlfriends had sex with the other man, and afterwards he and his girlfriend would have sex with each other. His girlfriends and the third parties were adults who willingly and enthusiastically participated. 12 attentive jurors heard all the evidence. They heard the testimony of Combs's girlfriends. They saw thousands of text messages, emails, and videos of the sexual encounters. Those 12 citizens diligently applied the law to that evidence and unanimously rejected the government's sore tale of coercion and racketeering. The verdict could not have been clearer or more consistent. The jury found Combs not guilty of forcing, coercing, or defrauding Cassandra Ventura. The jury found Combs not guilty of forcing, coercing, or defrauding Jane, a pseudonym for trial. And the jury found Combs not guilty of RICO conspiracy. The verdict is an affirmative indication of innocence. The jury did find Combs guilty of 2 lesser counts, prostitution offenses that didn't require force, fraud, or coercion. Defendants typically get sentenced to less than 15 months for these offenses, even when coercion, which the jury didn't find here, is involved. But Combs got a sentence more than 3 times as long despite the acquit. He sits in prison today serving a 50-month sentence because the district judge acted as a 13th juror. The judge defied the jury's verdict and found Combs coerced, exploited, and forced his girlfriends to have sex and led a criminal conspiracy. These judicial findings trumped the verdict and led to the highest sentence ever imposed for any remotely similar defendant. Even though most others, unlike Combs, ran prostitution businesses that exploited poor or undocumented women or minors. The district court flouted the new sentencing guideline prohibiting the use of acquitted conduct to enhance a sentence, and it ignored all the constitutional problems that led to the amendment. The court should have sentenced Combs for what he was convicted of: interstate transportation of adults for voluntary prostitution. It was unlawful, unconstitutional, and a perversion of justice to sentence Combs as if the jury had found him guilty of sex trafficking and RICO. When announcing the new guideline, the Sentencing Commission chair, Judge Carlton Reeves, was crystal clear. Not guilty means not guilty. The district court defied this directive. This appeal has been expedited because Combs has already served almost 16 months, more than the average sentence as of this writing. If this court does not overturn Combs's conviction, it should release him immediately and instruct the district court to resentence him only for the conduct of which he was convicted. Sentence aside, the conviction should be reversed. Taken in the light most favorable to the government. The offense conduct involved transporting Combs's girlfriend or a paid male escort interstate so they could have sex with each other while Combs watched and filmed, creating typical amateur pornography. The encounters were highly choreographed performances involving costumes, lighting, and other staged effects. Later, Combs and his girlfriends often watched the films together. Such conduct is protected by the First Amendment. To avoid these First Amendment and other constitutional concerns, the term prostitution and the Mann Act should be interpreted narrowly to exclude such voyeuristic and expressive activity that requires a judgment of acquittal. So the heart of this appeal is that the judge relied on conduct the jury explicitly rejected. The court said Combs coerced women and ran a criminal operation even though the jury found that he did not. So in 2024, the U.S. Sentencing Commission changed the rules. They said that judges are no longer allowed to increase sentences based on conduct a jury has acquitted the defendant of. The idea is simple. Not guilty means not guilty. But in this case, the judge did exactly that, enhancing Combs' sentence using allegations the jury rejected. The appeal argues this violated the sentencing guidelines, Diddy's Fifth Amendment, his Sixth Amendment, and basic principles of due process. Now, a major part of this appeal focuses on consent. At trial, both women testified extensively. Their messages, videos, and testimony showed the sexual encounters were voluntary, planned, repeated, often initiated by them, part of a consensual fetish lifestyle. The jury saw all of this and still acquitted him on sex trafficking, but the sentencing judge disregarded that and relabeled the same conduct as coercion. This is what Diddy's team is now fighting. This appeal isn't just about Mr. Sean P. Diddy Combs. It's about whether a judge can override juries, whether acquitted conduct can still put you in prison, whether sentencing guidelines actually mean anything, and whether consensual adult behavior can be relabeled after the fact. The appeal warns that if the Senate stands, it sets a precedent that affects everyone. So, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals now has three options. 1. They can overturn the sentence and order resentencing. 2. They can reverse the conviction entirely. Or 3. They can let the sentence stand. If the court agrees that the acquitted conduct was improperly used, Combs could be released immediately or resentenced to time already served. Either way, the case is shaping up to be one of the most important criminal justice appeals in years. A lot of legal analysts are saying that it is a possibility that this appeal will be accepted for legitimate legal reasons. His appeal is not based on public opinion or celebrity status, but it's on a serious legal issue. Whether a judge can enhance a sentence based on conduct a jury explicitly rejected. And that question is especially important right now because federal sentencing rules were recently changed to prohibit the use of acquitted conduct, and his sentencing occurred during that transition. So this appeal argues that the judge ignored those limits, relied on allegations the jury rejected, and imposed an unusual harsh sentence as a result. Appellate courts do take these issues seriously, particularly when they involve constitutional protections like the right to jury verdicts and due process. So, while no appeal is guaranteed to succeed, this one raises substantial legal concerns that make a sentence reduction or resentencing a realistic possibility. Now, what I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything now going on in the world of Diddy? What do you think about him filing this appeal?